What's up, everybody? Cash here, bringing you the next episode of 1v1 new tools with my opinion, the second best mon that got dropped, Magnezone. A mon that we've had in the past, that I think is extremely strong in the Sword and Shield meta, that I had an absolute breeze laddering with. Just actually stomping everyone with just clicking this thing over and over. Best thing about it, it only has 2 sets really. So it's not super complicated to use, very beginner friendly, and its matchups a lot of times are not that complicated. Like you don't have a lot of 50-50s. You have some, but like not a ton based on what it's actually good and bad versus. So as we always start, let's look at its base stats. 70 HP, pretty good. 70 attack, decent actually, but useless for what we're about to do. Defense, 115. Which is high, and actually will matter for a few things we're going to talk about later. 130 special attack, that's a ton. 90 special offense, which is good base. 60 speed, which is not super fast, but it's not so slow that it's like an absolute problem because the meta has slowed down for Sword Shield. There's base stats, abilities. Some of these abilities are decent in other game types, but Sturdy is best ability in 1v1. Sturdy super good 1v1. There's a bunch of mons that you're going to see in here that have Sturdy, and that's what makes them so viable. Being able to automatically live one hit in 1v1 is extremely good when there's lots of really strong things like Darm that can just one-shot you if you don't not have Sturdy. So we're going to go over 2 sets. We'll watch the replays as normal. Then we will talk about how do we counter this and what teammates can I use with this. So, sorry, it's so hot in my room. It's summertime. But first set, easiest one to use, Choice Specs. Choice Specs, everyone knows this. It makes your special attacks do more damage. Easy explanation. Moves you're running. Thunderbolt, really strong stab attack. Bread and butter, electric type move, 90 base power, really good. Flash Cannon, also stabs since you're electric steel type. Does a lot of damage. Both of these have good secondaries as well. 10% para chance. Well, obviously 10% is pretty low. Still, getting a para, everyone's here and there is pretty nice. Flash Cannon can lower special offense, which can be nice if you need to spam this versus like stall. Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam is on this set because it actually will do more to a Pokemon that's Thunderbolt's not super effective against or Flash Cannon's not super effective against. So, for instance, if you have like a fire type, right, you can click Hyper Beam versus your other moves. It'll do more damage to them. So that's pretty safe. Ground types. And then your last move. There's actually a few options here. So first we have Mirror Coat, which... How Mirror Coat works is say you got hit by like Hydro Pump from whatever. Actually, we use Charizard all the time. Say you got hit by Fire Blast from Charizard. There's no reason not to click Thunderbolt versus Charizard, but let's just say you got hit by Fire Blast, you click Mirror Coat. It's just a special version of counter. So it will do double the damage back to them, killing them, making you win. Easy as that. The other option for this bot is Body Press. So let's look at it right here. Body Press uses your defense to do its attack, which is why you have, this defense. We'll talk about the EVs after I finish the set. But Body Press is good versus the Magnezone Mirror because it will let you kill other Magnezones depending on if they have Body Press and what sets they are. It's actually, it's not great. It's like an average option, but it is an option if your team is like necessarily weak to other Magnezones or anything that Body Press might be good versus. So those are the moves you're basically going to run all the time. You could technically run Steel Beam for a better special attack, but I looked myself and I also asked TDA about what that would kill, and I couldn't really find anything, so I'm not sure how useful that is. But let's go in our EVs. So on both sets, you're going to see we have 80 HP, 68 defense. This is to live Banded or Shifu's Water Strike attack, whatever. I can't remember what it's called. But it's like the 3-strike water one. Rapid Strike. So basically, you need that defense and that HP to make sure you always live, and then you always kill them back with Thunderbolt. On this set, we've got 136 speed, which puts us at 190, which is to outspeed Crustle. And then we just put the rest in special attack because that's mainly what matters because you're attacking. So you've got those EVs to, beat our Shifu, and you've got this speed to make you faster than Crustle on the choice specs set. So it's pretty straightforward. You just click your best move versus whatever you're fighting, and you go burr and try to kill them. Next set. This one is a little bit harder to use, but also very effective. We'll just, let's do EVs first right now, because the EVs are basically the same. This speed is just, since we're running Electro Web, it helps you outspeed, like, Rillaboom, and I think if they're Haxorus, you'll outspeed them if they're not running Mold Breaker. So how this set works is, it's the same thing, right? It's sturdy. That's, like, your main premise of your thing. You basically use Sturdy, and you let something hit you with a super effective attack. We'll use Charizard again. Charizard hits you with Fire Blast, and the weakness policy, if you get hit by a super effective move, raises your attack special attack times 2. So it's like using Nasty Plot, right? And then once you get that boost, you use your attack, which is even stronger than specs because you have 2 times boost instead of 1. Boom, you hit them with whatever, and you kill them, and you win. So you're going to have basically the same moves on this set, right? You've got your strong stat boost, Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt. You should see those on pretty much every Magnezone. The one where this is a little different is Electro Web. So Electro Web is 55 base power, electric move that makes them slower. So a lot of times this is pretty good on weakness policy because they hit you with a super effective move. It maybe puts you down to sturdy, puts your weakness policy off. You wouldn't be able to OHKO them, which means to kill them in one shot. So you use Electro Web on them to slow them down, so that next turn, so now we're on turn 2, you're faster and you can hit them with something else, which gives you 2 attacks, making you win. That's the premise. Can be good versus like Bandit Sock. Can be good versus, as I said earlier, like Haxorus, Rillaboom. Just anything that you think you need to hit 2 times can be pretty good. I think it's also pretty good versus Primarina, depending on what set they are. And then Metal Sound. I say the Primarina thing because if you put them in Torrent, they'll do more damage to you, which is why sometimes it's not so safe to click Thunderbolt versus them. So then now this is your last move. You could use Mirror Coat here again, which is what we just talked about, where it like reflects the damage back. But in my personal opinion, Metal Sound is way better. So Metal Sound basically lowers their special defense by 2. And so say you're fighting something slow, we're going to see in replays. I have a really good replay of this working out for me. You get hit, you activate your weakness policy, right? You use Metal Sound, you lower their special defense. You're effectively +4 now. That's crazy. You kill everything at +4. So then you can just kill whatever your versus with whatever move you want. That's how you do the most damage. Also pretty good versus Stall, but I will note that it does not beat Chansey because you will die from Seismic Toss before you can Metal Sound them low enough to kill them. Just so you don't think like, oh, I can beat all Stall mons with my Metal Sound. You do not beat Chansey. You will still lose. So yeah, those are the 2 sets. They're both pretty straightforward and really strong, and I think this is like the most spammable, easy mom to use right now. It's even easier than Porygon Z probably, because Porygon Z has so many options. And I think if you're a new player, put Magnezones on your team, you will definitely see success and win games. So we got some replays. First, shout out Paza, Smelly Socks, Danny Doritos. For these 2 teams, you're going to see that I use to collect my replays. Silky Mitts is one of my alt accounts that I mostly play Monotype on. But I was just using it so the replays were easier to find. So most of these you're just going to see me clicking my Magnezone, right? Magnezone versus Dracovish. He hits me with Earthquake. I'm specs on this set. I click Hyper Beam because since he's Dragon, Thunderbolt is just neutral. Flash Cannon is not very effective. Hyper Beam is my strongest move. Hyper Beam goes burr, and boom. Killed his Dracovish, which couldn't have killed me anyway because I have sturdy, right? So that's like a perfect example of how strong that can be. Next game, I send my zone out. He sends his Pre-Marine out. I'm Specs. He's not Assault Vest, so Specs Thunderbolt just literally just one-shots that. That's just to show like the power of Pre-Marina. I mean, obviously it's super effective attack, but Pre-Marina is pretty bulky, and if they're Assault Vest, they won't die from that. But you can just see like that's just how easy it is to win games with this thing, right? You just click it and it just kills things. Next one, he sends his Sylveon out. I obviously have a super effective move. He tries to use Fake Tears. Doesn't matter. Flash Cannon, one shot. This thing's obviously really strong versus fairies. And fairies are common in the meta, so that's good. Alright, so Magikarp level 100. World Cup player. Most people probably know who he is, or she is. This is another decent game, because right, I use my Magnezone versus his Sylveon. I hit Flash Cannon. He's Bribby Berry, which negates my damage. He clicks Yawn versus me. Puts me to sleep. So now I'm going to have to eat some attacks here, right? Fake Tears makes half my, or gives me -2. Hyper Voice does 48. I even get max sleep for all 3 turns, and it doesn't matter. I wake up and I still win. That's just from the natural resist plus special defense, showing you how, you know, Magnezone is actually relatively bulky on its own. Next, I don't know if this is BSU. I don't think so. Some random guy. But this is just to show the EVs. So here we got Bandit or Shifu Water. Actually, this isn't the same replay, but whatever. Urshifu Water tries to kill me with Body Press. It can't. Bada bing, bada boom. He's dead. This is a good one where, so he's Zeraora. So obviously I can't click an electric move. I think he actually misplayed, because if you click Plasma Fists, you'd win here. But he misplays, giving me my only win condition, which is to just click my Hyper Beam. And as you can see, like, that's the move that I need to click right there, and it just, that's why Hyper Beam's so good on the set. It kills everything. Kritikon, another pretty good player who's well known. This is versus Primarina again. Oh, this is the other team. This is the other team. So now I'm using the other team. I'm using Kritikon. I'm pretty sure is using Assault Vest Primarina. I can't remember. I played him a few times, so I think I know he's Assault Vest Primarina, which is why I click Metal Sound here. He hits me with Sparkling Aria. It doesn't do enough. Then when he's at -2, my Thunderbolt will kill him. Whereas if I click Thunderbolt the first time, doesn't kill him, Sparkling Aria, or he clicks Hydro Cannon in Torrent range, and I get one shot and die. So that's why, that's one instance of Metal Sound being really good. Next, same team. This is where I was talking about earlier. So we're going to see him click Surging Strikes. Because of those EVs we have, you always survive. So obviously we live, and we kill him. That's exactly what the EVs are for. That was a perfect example of it. Playing the same guy again, he knows that can't win. He goes Ninetales. But I am Weakness Policy, as we know. So he actually goes for the ground move on me. Puts me down to 30. My Weakness Policy goes off. Thunderbolt one-shots, because I'm basically a Nasty Plot boost. And last two, 5 Luke. He goes Mudsdale, and this is another good example where I click Metal Sound because I don't know what, I'm worried about him being random Assault Vest. He puts me into, so now I'm basically +4, and Flash Cannon always kills, nice and easy. And then our last one versus Alone Cubone, who's a pretty good ladder player. This is just another example of where this is another really good strategy. Why Metal Sound is so good. I click Metal Sound, he clicks Focus Blast, it puts me into my Weakness Policy, and then Flash Cannon is able to kill Dragalge, which is obviously extremely bulky and could have very easily been Assault Vest. So that's why that's so strong. So now, how do we beat Magnezone? How do we counter Magnezone? If I come across Magnezones on the ladder, what should I be using versus them? You had a few options. Chansey is very good, beats every Magnezone set. As we saw, we were able to see that actually in the Chansey video. As we looked at earlier, Skarmory can beat the Choice Specs version. You can also use pretty much anything that has Mold Breaker, right? So Excadrill, Earthquake kills every Magnezone unless they're Balloon, but that's not that common. You have Halucha, high jump kick or close combat with Mold Breaker. That will kill Magnezone. And you have Haxorus, Earthquake, or close combat, which will also kill Magnezones with Mold Breaker. So those are 3 really good, strong Mold Breaker Pokemon that can always win. On top of that, you can just use special walls to beat them, or like anything. Also, opposing sturdy Pokemon can be pretty good. So Sock can lose this Electroweb one depending on the set, but Sock will beat Specs, and Sock with like a low kick could also even beat this, or low sweep. That's on that lowers your speed, right? Yeah. So there are a lot of counters, and even counters that are good. Like, those are not bad Pokemon, like Haxorus, Halucha, Excadrill. Those are all Pokemon who are on the VR. Those are, Pokemon that are actually pretty good, and you will see. So those are all really good counters. Sometimes some bulky fighting types, like Conkeldurr, can also counter you. Depending, I don't even think that Weakness Policy Thunderbolt will kill Conkeldurr. So you can lose to that. And yeah, so fighting types that are too bulky for you, just special walls. There's a few things that obviously can be you. So, now, so what teammates do we want to put with our Magnezone in order to have the most success, put Magnezone in the best position to win? So we just talked about, right, if you're using Specs, you can't really kill a Chansey anyway. You might want to use some sort of fighting type on your team. So like you could use your own Sock, you could use your own Urshifu like Bandit. And Bandit Urshifu is also good because that's like a really good partner because it can beat ground types for you that you might not be able to beat on your own. So you can use fighting types. Also, obviously, since you are a fairy killer, fighting types benefit from that. Dragon types benefit from that. So if you want to use a dragon type to beat a dragon type that might necessarily not be able to beat Sylveon, might not be able to beat Primarina, you can use your dragon type with Magnezone next to it as a counter. Make sure that you're surviving. There are so many good dragons in our tier. You can use literally Dragapult, Hydreigon, Kingdra I haven't really seen much of, but I guess you could technically use that. So those are all pretty, like Conkeldurr's a good partner, Haxorus is a good partner. Haxorus also beats opposing Magnezones for you, which can be good. You can use Dracovish. You get a lot of pretty good options. So there's some really strong teammates for it that you can try out. Dragon Fairy Steel is always a pretty safe core. So if you want to, you could put a Fairy on the team with this, because this can beat some Dragon types. But actually, you have to be careful with Dragapult. Dragapults run a lot of sets and are pretty strong. You might also want something that beats ground type, so you could use Rillaboom with this. Rillaboom's really strong and like can beat Excadrills, can beat like random earthquake things that you might be fighting against. Just worth noting. And Trickmons are also pretty good. So if you want to use like Gardevoir or Rotom Heat, those are both like useful and good Trickmons that I just saw Rotom Heat on my screen that I thought of. Both also pretty good, where you can beat some things that you might not be able to beat normally, like Stall Chansey, right? Or Stall Chansey, and then Gardevoir is also a fairy, so that puts you right into your fairy Dragon Steel core. So Gardevoir is a good mon to use as well. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed, maybe learned something, and I will catch you guys next time. Please leave a sub, a like, a mon suggestion if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support, and adios everybody.